Actor and musician Jussie Smollett was attacked and beaten early this morning, and police say it could be a hate crime.
Hold your head up, Jussie. It's just another fucking day in America.
Jussie is a friend. He is a fighter. We will find out what's going on. We're not going to let this go.
I don't like that it's being put out there in the media that this is a possible hate crime. This man was hurt, he was injured, and he needs justice. Point blank here.
We have a media that's saying it's a debate whether or not what just happened to Jussie Smollett is a hate crime. It's absurd. This isn't a debate.
I agree.
Respect too much people who I am now one of those people who have been attacked in any way. You do such a disservice when you lie about things like this.
The hunt for a woman called a supermom by family and friends who vanished without a trace.
Frantic search for a missing mother in California. She vanished while jogging near her home.
This morning, search teams scouring these rural roads and trails, trying to piece together what happened to Sherri Papini.
I'm coming, honey. I'm trying. I'm doing everything I can. And I love you.
Your wife vanished. But you're also the prime suspect.
Monday of this week, my children were the targets of attempted kidnap.
That's Katie Sorensen sounding a startling warning on Instagram about strangers trying to grab her kids.
I saw these people. They didn't look necessarily clean cut. I felt uncomfortable around them.
How far would you go for attention? Fake an illness, maybe Photoshop a few pictures? What about a kidnapping? Turns out, it's not as uncommon as you may think. Those precious sympathy points worth tying a noose around your neck or even becoming target practice for The Rock. If you don't experience racism, invent a hate crime. If your children are safe, invent a child abduction. When the supply of hardships can't meet the demand for sympathy, this is when victim mentality goes too far. We'll start off with the most famous victim on the list, Jussie Smollett.
A developing story we're watching out of Chicago. An actor who stars in the hit Fox show Empire was the victim of a violent attack early this morning.
In the early hours of January 29, 2019, Empire actor Jussie Smollett was brutally attacked on the walk back from a midnight subway run. He claimed the perpetrators recognized him from his TV show and subsequently attacked him while yelling racist and homophobic slurs. During the scuffle, they poured bleach on him, tied a noose around his neck, and shouted, "This is MAGA country," before running off into the night. The initial support for Jussie was immense. Kamala Harris called it a modern-day lynching. Nancy Pelosi called it an affront to humanity. But as outrage grew, so did the pressure on Chicago PD to find the perpetrators.
He's a victim right now, and we'll treat him like a victim. He's been very cooperative, and we have no reason at this point to think that he's not being genuine with us.
However, as more information was released in early February, skeptics of the incident only grew. Who was outside during a blizzard at 2 a.m.? Why did the attackers just happen to have rope and bleach with them? Who shouts, "This is MAGA country" in downtown Chicago?
Who are the MAGA supporters who hate gay people, who hate black people, but also happen to watch Empire?
As Jussie's lies unraveled, he agreed to appear on Good Morning America on February 14th.
It feels like if I had said it was a Muslim or a Mexican or someone black, I feel like the doubters would have supported me a lot more.
This announcement today recognizes that Empire actor Jussie Smollett took advantage of the pain and anger of racism to promote his career.
Then I look down and I see that there's a rope around my neck. And I started screaming. And I said, "There's a rope around my neck."
Why would anyone, especially an African-American man, use the symbolism of a noose to make false accusations?
The week before the attack, police confirm a letter was sent to the Fox studio in Chicago.
Do you think there's a link between the letter and the attack?
Just because on the letter, it had a stick figure hanging from a tree with a gun pointing towards it, with the words that said, "Smollett Jussie, you will die, black." Did I make that up too?
Smollett attempted to gain attention by sending a false letter that relied on racial, homophobic, and political language.
If the attackers are never found, how will you be able to heal?
I don't know. Let's just hope that they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not go there yet.
Unbeknownst to Jussie though, the attackers had already been arrested a few hours earlier. Abimbola and Owabinho Asundero, two Nigerian bodybuilders who worked as extras on Jussie's show Empire, were arrested at a Chicago airport. Not wanting to go to jail for a crime they didn't commit, the brothers quickly revealed evidence that Jussie himself orchestrated the hoax. This included security video, text messages, and a $3,500 check.
America, let me just tell you something. What's that? Do not commit crimes with checks. Come on, man. You cannot, if you're gonna break the law, do not write a check.
I've been truthful and consistent on every single level since day one. I would not be my mother's son
if I was capable of one drop of what I've been accused of.
This is where we waited for Jussie to come before we attacked him. We gotta go get this Empire Yeah, that's him. That's him. Is that him?
That's that Nick.
It's that Nick.
Get that Nick.
Oh, let's move fast. Come on, let's get him.
Get that Nick.
Let's get him.
But at least there was a heavy financial incentive for Jussie, unlike her next victim who faked her own child's kidnapping for a couple TikTok likes.
My children were the targets of attempted kidnap.
This mom gave a chilling account of an attempted abduction involving her kids.
On December 13, 2020, 27-year-old momfluencer Katie Sorensen posted a viral video to her Instagram claiming her kids were the victims of an attempted child abduction.
I am a mom of 2 young boys.
Last December, Sorensen told cops she was shopping at a Michael's craft store in Petaluma, California with her kids when this Hispanic couple followed her to the parking lot. She said the man tried to grab her stroller.
The video quickly went viral and public outrage forced local law enforcement to make the case a priority. After analyzing security footage, police released an image of the alleged child abductors.
This mom said she and her husband recognized themselves in the photo and came forward to deny Sorensen's claim.
She wanted a stronger following. She was looking for, content for her fame and her income at our expense.
After speaking with the Martinez couple, police swiftly corroborated the story and Sorensen went from a victim to a defendant. She was sentenced to 90 days in jail for making a false police report, and the real penalty, 1 year without Instagram.
Sorensen's attorney maintains his client did not lie to police.
She misperceived and misunderstood a series of random events which were occurring around her.
But basically the defense is, Katie was too fucking stupid to understand what was happening, so she ended up just making a report that is completely not grounded in reality at all, and we're very sorry that she's so dumb.
The thing is though, without that security footage to prove their innocence, it's entirely possible the couple ends up on the list. It's one thing to lie for some likes, but it's a whole nother story when you accuse a real-life couple of one of the most heinous crimes imaginable. What I'm curious about is how is this plan concocted? Did Katie walk into the store that day with the intention of staging a kidnapping? Or did she see the uncut couple inside, at which point her brilliant idea was born? Either way, at least she was caught a week later. The same cannot be said for Sherri Papini, who had detectives fooled for 4 whole years after her alleged kidnapping.
Very latest on that missing mother of 2 who was last seen jogging more than a week ago near her California home.
On November 2nd, 2016, 32-year-old father of 2 Keith Papini came home from work after his routine shift at Best Buy. Expecting his usual greetings of hugs and laughter, he was surprised to find the house dead silent. Figuring his stay-at-home wife Sherri had taken the kids on a trip, he checked for a missing car or stroller, but both were still there. After receiving no reply from his wife, he called the daycare, but to his surprise, the kids had never been picked up. Now really starting to panic, he tracked his wife's phone to a nearby intersection using Find My iPhone. Upon arrival, he was confronted with this startling scene.
Hello, can I help you? So I just got home from work, and my wife wasn't there, which is unusual, and my kids should have been there by now from daycare. I found her phone and it's got hair ripped out of it, in the headphones. So I'm totally freaking out, thinking somebody grabbed her.
When police arrived on scene, they quickly scoured the area, but to no avail. In the following days, a formal search was assembled, which eventually turned into a nationwide manhunt.
Tonight, growing desperation. Family members of this missing mother of 2 now telling ABC News they're expanding their pleas for help nationwide.
Friends, former classmates, and supporters coming from across Northern California to help in the search.
But as media attention grew, more eyes fell on Sherri's husband Keith.
We know that authorities in these types of cases almost always look at the spouse first.
Your wife vanished. But you're also the prime suspect.
As days turned to weeks, hope of finding Sherri only dwindled. That was until Thanksgiving Day 2016, when dispatch received this astonishing call.
She's asking for an ambulance. She's chained up, her vision's blurry, and she needs an ambulance.
Can I talk to her? Please, please. Sherri, I need you to listen to me. I have an officer en route. We've had several calls. Are you chained up? Yes.
At around 5 a.m., Sherri Papini miraculously reemerged on Interstate 5. Her nose was broken, her hands zip-tied, and her body chained up. She was battered, bruised, even branded, but alive. After 22 days of horror, she was finally reunited with her husband and kids. The town celebrated her homecoming as a miracle and herself as indomitable. But while the crisis was now over, the mystery had just begun.
Officials are working on a very vague description as they search for the people responsible for Sherri Papini's abduction. They say they're looking for 2 Hispanic women that they consider to be armed and dangerous.
Working with little to no info, detectives pieced together what they had but were ultimately left bewildered. This would go on for 4 more years until advances in forensic technology broke the case wide open. What you're about to see is detectives confront Sherri Papini with irrefutable evidence that she herself had staged her own kidnapping, all the while her ever-trusting husband sits in the chair beside her.
Incredibly long road, but some stuff's come up. So there's always been DNA out there. We've done test after testing, and we've just hit wall after wall after wall. But recently, we found some familial DNA hit. So with that, we open up the investigation. We go into who could it be within the family.
Do you remember there was a detail about the shower that you provided previously? Something on the tile or something like that? Do you remember any of
There
those?
was tile on the tile? There was a crack.
Where was the crack? It's not a memory test. If you don't remember, that's fine. But
I don't know. I don't know.
in general, are we talking about? Okay.
We're showing you all of this because ultimately this is the house. It led us to a specific person, but not a female. The DNA came back to James Ray's.
The DNA that was on you belongs to James Ray's.
You've told us so many truths in this situation. The reason why you can describe the room is because you stayed in the room in the dark. The reason why you lost so much weight is because you stopped eating. The reason why you got a rash on your arm is because you cleaned his house. The reason why the brand is because he went to the store, bought the branding tools, and branded you. The reason why your nose was broke is because of a hockey stick. I know all of that because he passed a polygraph test. That said, it's not an abduction. She asked me to come get her.
No.
I rented a car.
No.
I drove up and picked her up.
Can I talk to you outside?
He understood that the DNA didn't lie, so he came clean. Now's your chance to do the same. And if you don't, you're going to be shaking your head later and say, I should have told you what happened.
Like that.
You had to have known that this was going to come at some point.
I was talking to you.
What's that?
All my fault. I was talking to you guys.
Well, we
What is she with me to you? I know you know she is. I'm not saying it. I don't want her to get in trouble. I know you know who she is.
You're getting in trouble.
I am not. I didn't do anything.
Alright. Well, an idiot husband that stayed around the whole time. Now you're telling me, okay, you guys can go home now. Well, do you think I want her anywhere around my kids or around me at all at this point?
So put yourself in Keith's shoes. You and your middle school sweetheart are raising your 2 children in your childhood home. Everything's perfect. Then one afternoon, your wife vanishes. The whole town looks for her, you spend day and night searching, but now you're the prime suspect.
But Keith felt he couldn't keep that terrible secret from their son, Tyler.
He knew something was up, and he said, Dad, you can tell me anything. So I just said, son, Mommy went running and she didn't come home, and we're all looking for her right now.
Then suddenly, she miraculously returns. Her story doesn't completely add up, but you're blinded by relief, love, and denial. Over the next 4 years, you catered to her as the victim of one of the worst crimes imaginable, until you learn she made the whole thing up just to cheat on you with her ex. The major question throughout all these cases is why? Why do people fake crimes for attention? Is the prospect of victimhood worth the risk of social suicide? I guess in these cases, it was. For every fake victim, there are 10 true victims now met with skepticism instead of support. An absolute afterthought though when you're faking a crime for attention.